guys, welcome to Silicon Valley Girl and welcome to New York.
Wait, Marina, what are you doing?
A YouTube video?
That's not how you make YouTube videos. Let's talk.
Now it's gonna be a bit weird. We actually spent time with Joma in New York, and then we decided that we're actually gonna film an interview when I'm back in the Bay. So let's call Joma and let's ask him everything about his production and his YouTube life.
I didn't want to start any channel, but I just couldn't help myself. So they immediately would say like, wow, I can't believe Joma would do this. I told myself that I'm giving up as a YouTuber. I definitely think it's not necessary to invest at all in your videos. It might not be funny, but it'll look good.
Let's talk about, I wanted to dig deeper into what your day looks like now, how you're running your media empire.
So I like how you say Joma, like my empire. It's actually not an empire at all. I still don't have any employees, like any full-time employees.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah,
wow.
It's all just me. It's all in my head too. Like I'm
That's
actually
even more
the worst.
Incredible.
I'm actually a terrible entrepreneur because I'm just so disorganized and like everything is up in the air. Like, yes, I have like 3 channels, but like I barely post on them sometimes and I don't have a good schedule and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm trying to work on. So my day is pretty different. I have 3 types of days mostly. Like I have like my writing days where I just try to write. Like I maybe write like 1 or 2 hours out of the day, and then the rest of it I'm just trying to be productive. So if I run other channels, I would message other people saying, hey, is the edit done yet, or like review their videos and stuff like that. So I do all the editing myself still.
For all the channels?
Just for Joma Tech, Joma Tech, yeah. And then for Joma and NYC, I have an editor. Sometimes I edit a little bit still, but mostly it's an editor. Yeah, so all the other channels, I try to outsource as much as possible.
And when you say all the other channels, I thought there was just 3 of them, or you have more.
Oh yeah, it's not that many. So it's like Joma and NYC.
Yeah. And
then the other channel is called Recall by Dataiku, which is just a data science channel. And then I used to have other channels that didn't pan out. Like there was a channel called 6 Strangers where we watch 6 strangers video chat each other in hopes to falling in love, and then we also commentate on that, very much like Terrace House or like Too Hot to Handle. It's kind of like a reality TV series, but I kind of stopped doing that.
So you have an editor, right? Like a contractor editor.
Yep.
How did you find him?
Yeah, so he worked for me for like 5 years now. So it's like, even when I was a very small YouTuber, so he literally just messaged me or DM'd me. And back then I didn't have that many people DMing me, so I was still able to read my DMs. And he just asked me, hey, can I work with you? Can I be your cameraman? So he was first my cameraman. And note that he was 15 at the time.
No experience, and he was just the beginner, right?
Well, he was pretty good. Like as a 15-year-old, he was pretty good. And he's a great editor too. So so I just worked with him more and more. And then every time I don't have enough bandwidth, I would ask him to help me. And then we just built that relationship. And now he still works for me with Joma and NYC, and sometimes Joma Tech as well.
Mm-hmm. And what about your scripts? Do you write everything yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my scripts, I write everything myself mostly. Sometimes I get ideas from my friends. If they have like some funny ideas, I'm like, oh my god, that's a great idea, and I would write a little bit of it. I've done once where I hire like 3 writers, and we would just brainstorm ideas, and I would ask them to write like their parts. But I don't think that works because the tone is different. They might not have watched as many videos, like as many of my videos as they should have. So, but sometimes they have some great ideas. Like for example, this is pretty niche example, but in one of my videos, there's a startup competitor called Shader, which makes window shades. Yep. So that wasn't actually my idea. It was one of their ideas. So I was like, wow, that's actually brilliant. And then I just write the whole thing. So you worked on that video with them, right? On the Shades video? You worked with a team of writers? Exactly. So I hired them off Upwork, and then we just had like a brainstorm session, and we just do it for like 3 hours. And but then I do the rest. I do like the rest of the cleaning up, the actual writing and stuff like that. But they do give like some pretty good ideas, and I think that's worth it. How did you look for them? You just typed in, I don't know, writer for YouTube? No, I just wrote like comedy writers, and then I tried to find some. I don't do it anymore. Like I only did it once. Surprisingly, my friends are pretty funny. So now I just get my friends to help me. Like for example, my crypto trading video, my friend who's really into the crypto space, he gave like a lot of the good jokes. Like
it's amazing.
like the, I don't know if I can say it, but the dick joke, and then also
Are you turning it into an NFT or because you wanted to sell it, right?
Oh yeah. So I was thinking that I might turn it into an NFT, and also it's redeemable for the actual frame, but I kind of fell in love with it, so I might keep it for myself. I'll just keep it for myself because I do like to have like mementos every time I make a video. So I might keep it until I get bored of it, and then I might auction it off.
Got it. So editor, and then when you're writing your own script, how do you know how to write? Is that something you've learned on like while being a YouTuber, or did you have any special education, any courses that you've taken?
Yeah, I think it's mostly just, you know, practice. You just keep making videos that's fictional. I think that's a little bit different from other YouTubers, is that every one of my videos, it's just like a story. It's not really real. I think, yeah, I still don't think I'm a good writer though. That's the thing. And I think I just have to keep improving by making these videos. I have watched courses. Do you know Masterclass?
Yeah, of course.
Like they make like really cool ads.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of masterclasses by Shonda Rhimes, Aaron Sorkin. So these are like famous writers. Yeah. And yeah, I kind of learned from that. But in the end, I think right now it's pretty primitive the way I write. It's just like, oh, it's funny, all right, let's just write it down, and then try to imagine it, like how it look like when I film it.
And what's the process like? Oh, you get the idea, do you immediately start writing? Right. Or you're like, oh, I just released this video, I'm gonna take a 2-week break? Like how? Yes. What is your how do you think about your schedule?
Yeah, so right after I release a video, I usually have a week of 2 of like cool down period where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm like, I'm done. Or just a week of like me checking the stats. I try not to do that anymore, but that happens. I'm like, oh, let's look at the stats. Yeah. But yeah, and then eventually I kind of get bored of like, oh yeah, whatever, the video's doing well or not well, but I don't care anymore. And then I start to transition into thinking about like more video ideas. It usually they just come to me, I guess, because like I always have an idea of where I want to go, because I have a lot of different characters now. So I kind of have an idea of where I want to go with the characters. And then sometimes if I think of a random joke, then I just write it down as a note, like in my notepads or in Notion. I write it down in Notion. And then sometimes when I have to write a video, like for example, oh, I have a deadline for this sponsor, then I would kind of look through my notes and see which jokes are relevant to the video and try to just like create like a Frankenstein and then smoothen it out. So that's usually what happens. And then most of the writing comes from like, oh my God, I really need to film in like a week or 2. So let's better start writing. And then I would just write all my ideas. It's pretty bad, but like I'm just trying to make a video now. And then I start smoothing it out, like slowly but surely.
And so your ideal schedule would be posting how often on Joma Tech? Once a month?
Well, for now I post once a month. My ideal schedule would be I post more than once a month. So I'm still working on that. I think I could post more than once a month now that I quit my Google job. So yeah, I wish I can post. Well, obviously I wish I can post once a week. But I just don't have.
Yeah, it's such high production.
Exactly. I don't have like a system yet for me to post once a week. And also I think I'll run out of ideas pretty fast if I post once a week. But the goal is to do 1 or 2 times per month now.
Yeah, and with Joma in NYC once a week, or? Oh
yeah, that's also like
that one is pretty random, right? You're
like Joma's NYC is pretty random. It's like sometimes I post like every week, and then sometimes I take like a 2-month break and stuff like that. But for Joma in NYC, it's pretty much I'm just waiting on the sponsor. Like once they say like, okay, we're good for sponsor, I'm like, okay, we'll post it. So it's mostly just kind of like an easy way.
Sponsor-driven production.
Exactly. Like it's not my baby. Like yes, I like the channel. It's fun. It's lighthearted. But it's like I don't mind putting like sponsors in every single one of the videos. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what about the other one, the third channel?
Yeah, so the third channel is fully sponsored by a company, which is why I could run it. So the company is called Dataiku. It's like a data company, and yeah, so I just have to post twice a month, and then I'm still actively trying to like hire people for that channel so that we can make it more, so we can make more content basically.
What about the cinematic shots?
Yes.
Who takes them?
Yeah, so definitely not me. I don't have the skills to do that. So in terms of filming, that's when I hire a lot of people as well. And these are all contractors as well. I think in general, productions, that's how it works. Like in the traditional media, it's like once you have to film something, you just hire a lot of contractors. The biggest shoot that I did was a video called like The Man Who Changed New York City with Data Science or something. That one was like super high production value, and it was like a team of like 30, I think. So I hired a production company and they manage everything.
How do you know they're good? How do you hire a production company? Did you just Google?
Yeah, so I do a combination of like Googling, and then also there's a page on Facebook called like Asian Creative Network. And then I would post there and say, like, hey, any production companies? And then people would recommend certain production companies. I would look at their website, see what they've done so far. And then if you like what you see, then you could kind of take a leap of faith. Yeah. So that was huge, but I don't think I would do that every time. I needed to do that one because it's it's like a period piece. So it had to look like the 1960s or 70s or 1980s. Yeah. So that was a little bit more difficult to pull off. So I had like a team of like 30 to do that.
And they hire actors, they take care of the studio, like everything.
Exactly.
You just give them the script basically, and you say, this is what I want in the end.
Yeah. So it really depends on what kind of client you want to be. So I was very involved because I wanted to be part of the creative process. I want to make sure they get it right and stuff like that. In my opinion, I wasn't involved enough for that project because I guess I'm a micromanager. I do like to, do everything because there were some things that I thought should be done differently, but in the end it was a decent project. So yeah, so that's pretty much how it is. It's the same thing for like if you're a brand and you want to make a commercial, then you would go to these production companies and they would handle it for you. And then some of them offer full services from the creative pre-production to production and post-production. For these guys, I only use them for pre-production and production. And then for editing, I just did everything myself. I had like my own contacts for like colorist and music composing and stuff like that. So these are also contractors I hire for post-production. So that was that. And then the next one I did was like the crypto trading one. This one, it was my favorite shoot for sure, by far. And it was, I was very proud of that video.
I love the characters, both of them.
Yes, I love Crypto Poppy. I love Brad Chung. I always wanted to play something like that, like someone cocky. Honestly, it might be the worst part of me is coming out in the form of character, so I could just do whatever I want. But yeah, that was a very fun shoot, and it was a small crew, 6 people, and they're all like NYU students or like new grads. I like that because instead of hiring a production company, I just picked and choose the ones that I think I need in terms of the contractors or like the workers. So basically we had a director of photography, a producer, a gaffer, and a first AC, and then also a sound person. And then because it was a small team and I did all the hiring, then I felt like it was more my video because I had 100% creative control over it. So I'm gonna start with that now and build upon this and have like a bigger team in the future if ever it requires a bigger team, because it really depends what kind of video or the storyline I want to execute on.
That's amazing. What are your, like, every time you're about to produce this piece of content that would take you days and weeks to produce, and then the whole team, what are your feelings?
I just get nervous all the time. It's like high anxiety because you don't want to let other people down as well. Because when you film alone, or when I film alone, I could, do 20 takes, 30 takes. I don't really mind because the only person doing it is me. But when you have a crew, you're like, oh, I hope they're not getting bored or they don't think I'm annoying. Like imagine if you do a single take multiple times, but it's like pretty complicated in terms of the camera movements, or they have to like hold a very, very heavy camera. Like you feel kind of bad, right? So I just have a lot of anxiety leading up to it. because I want to make sure that I can act well and quickly, right? So we can move on, because you only have so many hours in a day, and you just hope that you can get all the shots that you need. So it's just pure anxiety, and I keep changing my script almost until the end, almost until filming day. So that's pretty much what I feel. But once you're on set, I think things are a lot better, because like the whole team just like, we all have a similar vision. We're all executing on the same thing, and it feels great. It feels really great to be on set. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how much do you care about views?
Yeah, so I mean, no matter what, you have to care about views a little bit, because one, it's like validation, knowing that, okay, well, you know, a high view count means it's usually a quote unquote good video, but that's not necessarily true. And also, views do bring in the money, right? And if I do want to continue making what I do, I have to get the views so that I can get the money, even if it's not through AdSense. Imagine if I need to do a sponsored video, they're going to check how many views you get in your previous videos, and they're going to give you a rate according to that. So that is important, but I try not to check the 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, you know how YouTube tells you how your videos are performing.
Yeah, but it's so hard not to.
Yeah, I love that feature. Like, you know, I think it's a great analytics feature, but I try not to check it because I do want to give it time.
Got it. So you just did this NFT drop. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm a proud owner of a Vaxxed doggy.
Yes. Thank you for supporting me. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. And so you said it's 250K, right, that you raised? So you said it's going to be...
something like that. So we raised like 230K, and then 10% goes to the platform, Magic Eden, which is the platform that hosted it, and then 10% goes to my developer, who helps me like do like the web dev stuff, like web development. And also it was kind of like his idea to connect with Magic Eden, the platform, so I wouldn't have done it without him. Yeah.
And it's gonna last you said 10 videos, right?
It depends, like the it depends on the price of Solana, because I'm keeping it as a Solana. And then it also depends on like what kind of videos I want to make. But if I want to make each video like around 20,000 in terms of budget, then it'll last about 10 videos.
And that has been the average budget for your videos, right? Some videos were like 60K. That was the most expensive one, right?
Yeah, the 60K one was the most expensive one. And then the crypto trading one was like less than 20,000. So I kind of just took that as a benchmark, because I don't see myself doing something crazy unless I want to hire like 100 extras and to do something epic. So it really depends on the video I want to make, but it gets voted on my Discord. Like it depends on my community, if they think if they accept like, oh yeah, it's gonna be high budget, but it means it'll take away from other videos, but it's gonna be an awesome video. So I usually just ask my community.
Yeah. Are you planning to share like part of your success with your community?
Yeah. So in general, it's kind of hard to like share the success, just because like there's just not a lot of ad revenue from these videos, because it's not sponsored either. So in terms of my way of sharing success is I do like random airdrops, meaning like sometimes I do giveaways in my Discord. And then, for all the Vax holders, sometimes I give them like, randomly, like, here's 1 SOL or like 5 SOL and stuff like that, because I do get royalties, and I try to distribute that back to either the videos or the community. And then the other thing I do is I share scripts with them, like unreleased scripts, and they could read it, and then they could also give me feedback or give me ideas. And if I end up using the ideas, I give them like SOL as well. So in some ways it's like we're writing it together as a community. Yeah.
How do you manage that? How do you process rewards?
You mean like my Discord channel, or you mean like
like somebody contributed to the idea and you want to distribute some rewards, which platform, or how does it work technically?
Right. So it's pretty primitive right now. So if they give me a good idea, and I said, that was a great idea, so I would just like tag them on Discord, and they would share me their Solana address, and then I would just send them 1 Solana through the network. Yeah, that's it.
Got it. How then do you get inspired to produce your content?
Yeah, I think in general it's just more like normal TV that inspires me, you know. And well, in terms of normal TV and normal TV shows or like films, I like Adam McKay, who's who made the movie The Big Short, Don't Look Up, the recent one. So I'm really into what he makes. So yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm a big fan of him. You know, HBO, Silicon Valley, I'm a big fan of that. There's also so in terms of YouTubers, I do like a lot of these like comedy YouTubers. Steven, there's a guy called Steven Hey. He's pretty funny. He makes like sketches and he's hilarious. I like him a lot. I really like Cody Ko used to be an inspiration to me. He's very funny.
Yeah.
So he's actually one of the reasons why I started YouTube as well, because I started YouTube long time ago, even before Joma Tech, before Joma. I was like 15 or something, but the channel is like gone now because I was very embarrassed. But I used to make little sketches with like my webcam, and yeah, I was inspired by Kev Jumba, community channel. These are all the OG YouTubers, Ryan Higa, so Wong Fu Productions. You know, I was very much into them before.
Cool. And if you were to reflect on your whole creator career, what was the moment when you struggled the most?
There were a lot of struggles. There were a lot of struggles. I would say the hardest time was before I even started Joma Tech. So I had a channel called Joma. I used to vlog in Asia, and then I used to make sketches too, like comedy sketches, but nothing would work. I would try posting on Facebook, I would try posting on Instagram, on YouTube, but no one watched me. I tried to ask my friends to watch me, but like, yeah, they could be polite and they'll just watch it, but they don't really like my videos, to be honest, and I just felt bad asking them to watch my videos. That was actually when I used to work at BuzzFeed, because I wanted to be in their videos in the hopes of like getting an audience there. That never worked out. And then yeah, I think that was like the hardest time. Like I was pretty sad at BuzzFeed because, you know, I just couldn't make it as a YouTuber. So I told myself that I'm giving up as a YouTuber. I'm just gonna go get a job in Silicon Valley. So yeah. Which is why I went to Facebook and then just work. But it's when I went to Facebook that I saw that there was this booming like tech YouTube world, or like software engineering YouTube world, and that's when I got in, and then that's when it blew up. So
do you remember this moment when you were like, okay, I'm gonna start another channel now?
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't want to start any channel, but I just couldn't help myself, right? Because I just like making videos. I just couldn't help myself, because every time I gave up after like a month or two watching TV shows and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my god, I'm just so inspired to make stuff. So I just ended up making stuff. And then for Joma Tech, when I started making videos and I was getting views from not my friends but from actual strangers, that was like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah. You know. And then I went kind of like viral with a video called like A Day in the Life of a Facebook Engineer. So that was insane. I was waking up to like so many comments. It wasn't even that many relatively to now, but for me it was like so many comments. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm like replying to all of them. I reached like 10,000 subscribers. That was like a dream come true to me, and I couldn't ask for more. And then if you would tell that person like, hey, one day you'll get 1 million subscribers, I would be like, nah, there's no way. Yeah. I'm happy with 10,000.
That's amazing. And on that journey, did you get a lot of hate, or was it like kind of smooth?
Yeah, initially I did get like hate, but it's but the hate comments, they don't really hurt you that much if you know they're not true. It only hurts when it's slightly true, right? So I used to get comments like, oh, this guy is not a real engineer. He's a marketer pretending to be an engineer. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not true, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, so sometimes I do get like comments, especially maybe nowadays too, which like they do hurt, but like it not too much, because I could just like not think about them. But stuff like, oh, his acting is kind of cringe. I'm like, oh, shit, maybe you're right. Like,
have you ever had thoughts like, oh, maybe I should stop acting because it's weird?
Oh no, because like, I mean, it's just easier. I think it's just easier to make videos where I'm acting in it, so that I don't need to like, it's just one fewer things to think about. But yeah, no, I've had hate comments about like my acting, or about just or me being cringe, or like you know, the jokes being bad or it's like not funny, or actually even like when I pivoted to like NFT content, or just when I did when I told everyone that I raised money on NFTs, a lot of people have an aversion to NFTs. Like they have this preconceptions in their mind that like that NFTs are bad because it is a space where there's a lot of scams. You know, with every new space where there's a lot of money involved, there's going to be scammers coming in. So a lot of them associate that with scams, and then they can't disassociate that, so they immediately would say like, wow, I can't believe Joma would do this, would do that, you know, NFTs are a scam, I can't believe it. But I do think that the majority of my viewers are pretty open-minded. They do, you know, they do their own research, they understand where I'm coming from, and they could see that it's kind of like for my videos, so it's still positive. But that 10%, or even less than that, maybe like a 1%, they're pretty vocal, so it does like stand out a lot on YouTube. But I think the key is to sort your comments by top comments, and you usually just see the good ones.
Yeah. So you never had this like, oh my god, maybe I should, you know, adjust my content a bit or not do this or that just because of the hate comments?
Yeah, I don't think so. Like unless it's like all the top comments are saying one thing, then you might have to reevaluate like, oh, maybe
have you had
they're
that?
Right. No, not really. Yeah, not really. I think most of the time it's been pretty positive. Yeah, it's only if you do like a huge pivot. Like I was pretty scared of posting my, oh, we made 200K through NFTs, because I thought it was going to be like 50% negative comments.
And you have the Bored Ape, right? Talking about NFTs.
Yes, I do.
You bought one. Has it paid for itself, or what's going on with it?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Are you actually networking with people who are holders?
Here's the problem. I should be, and that was the whole point. But I'm too shy. Like I feel weird. Like I'm not a guy who can like reach out to people very well. So I'm in their Discord group where only holders can chat with each other. But I'm still kind of like shy. You know?
Is it active? What's going on in that group?
Yeah, it's pretty active, but they mostly talk about like trading and like NFTs and stuff like that.
Cool. Are you even, quick question, are you break even with your videos? Well, in terms of like...
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I would lose videos. Yeah. So usually when the videos are like pretty fancy, like to be honest, I've only had like maybe like 2.5 high production quality videos, you know, because most of it I'm just like filming at home. So
when it was like a day in life of an engineer, was it you and maybe like a camera guy?
Oh, yeah. So it depends which one you're talking about, but there's one, it's like a day in life, like the one of 10 million views. That was just me, and it cost like nothing. Like it didn't cost anything to make, right? Because I was just literally filming by myself. So yeah, so that's definitely break even. It's more than break even. It got me 10 million views. And then for the other one, the startup engineer, where I introduced shader, the only part that was expensive was like the fake perfume commercial for the blinds. Yeah, so that's the only part that's expensive, and it pays for itself because I have a sponsor for that video. Yeah, so yeah, no, I do spend a lot of money on videos, but I also make sure that that I use like the sponsor's money or like the revenue or something. So
basically the sponsor comes in and then they tell you how much they're willing to pay, and you're like, okay, this is going to be this video. This is how much you can spend in production.
Pretty much.
Cool. So the next videos, what do you think in the next year? Would most of your video be high quality production because you raised this money?
Yeah. So each video would be at least like, you know, at least like $10,000 to make. So it's going to be all similar to the crypto trading video from now on, just because like I raised this much money. So I'm trying to use it all this year. So yeah, so it's all going to look good. It's going to look good at least. You know, it might not be funny, but it'll look good.
Do you have this feeling like sometimes you can invest $0 in production and get 10 million views, but sometimes you invest, I don't know, 40,000 and you don't get as much views? Yeah. What do you feel about it? Do you feel that it's still necessary to invest that much in production?
I definitely think it's not necessary to invest at all in your videos. That's why most YouTubers don't do it, right? It makes no financial sense to invest this much money to making videos.
But then if you look at the most popular YouTuber, Mr. Beast, he can spend like 3 million, and you might think maybe in this competitive world, you actually need to invest in production.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, only invest your money if you think that it's gonna yield the results. For Mr. Beast, it makes perfect sense to do it because that's his angle. That's his like stiche or whatever. But in the end, it's the story that matters, and then the production quality. It only if it helps you tell that story, then yes, you have to spend that money, right? Like, for example, the part of the joke of my like window blinds is that it's so high quality, it looks so cool, but it's literally just window blinds. Like, who cares, right? So that is necessary to be high production because in itself, that's the joke, right?
Exactly.
But everything else in terms of like the video quality, for me, it's only for personal enjoyment and like for me to get better at the craft, right? But I don't think that's necessary. Like, there's a lot of YouTubers who spend $0 and they're like blowing up like crazy. Of course, I do feel sad. Well, for example, like the Jack Maple video, the data science video that cost $60,000 to make, I knew it wasn't going to be a video that would get a lot of views, but it was something that was needed to be done for that story. Because imagine if I filmed alone and I act as the detective, it would look really janky and stupid. I think, yeah, I have to separate like production quality and the view count because I don't think they're correlated at all. Because in the end, it's all about the thumbnail and title. Like, there are some videos which are like pretty bad, but they have like a very clickable title and thumbnail such that they get a lot of views. But I do think that in terms of retaining your audience or creating a lifetime value of your audience, trying to increase that, I think having good videos, I think that matters. It matters in the long term. You might not see it in the beginning in terms of analytics and stuff like that, but you do deepen your relationship if they see that you care a lot about the video. And my way of caring is by, creating these like high production value video. But for some other creator, it could mean something else. It could mean being very genuine on camera or being very entertaining or having the best jokes on camera.
I like your way of thinking about that.
Thank you.
Because I also started investing in like production, and sometimes it costs thousands of dollars, which for me, like a lot. I've never invested that much. And sometimes it doesn't pay off at all.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. Like, I wish it was proportional to how much we spend. But the problem is we never know what the audience wants, right? If we knew, we would go viral every time. Yeah.
By the way, what are your tips for going viral regarding thumbnail, title?
I don't know how to go viral, but I think there are certain things that you can do that might help. I think if the video title has already been kind of proven to be a viral like format, for example, a day in a life, I don't know why. I don't know why it goes
on every single channel. Not as good as on yours, but
but yeah, like these kind of videos, they always do well. So that you can kind of like use those titles to make your videos go more viral. Like, I thought the crypto trading expectation versus reality one, I thought that would go viral because expectation versus reality is a very common template, but it didn't, so sometimes you don't know, but it helps. I do think like looking at your, not competitors, but you know how they have like your viewers watch similar videos? Yeah, you look at their channel and then you sort by like their most popular videos, and then you could kind of get inspiration using their thumbnail / titles. I think that's a good way of going viral on your niche, especially. Going viral outside your niche, I have no idea,
Yeah, it's up to the algorithm.
It's up to the algorithm.
Cool. Maybe let's wrap up. I like this. I think it was Graham Stephan who taught me this. Let's wrap up the video with advice from you.
That's a good question. Well, I think in general, it's more of a meta advice, but it's more about like being able to think about what you truly want to do. If money is not involved, like what would you actually do day to day if money was not involved, and always hold that into your heart and remember not to drift away from it, because it's very easy to try to grow just for the sake of growing, because I've seen YouTubers who hire like teams of people and stuff like that. But I do want to say that it could be dangerous because we are in the media business, and I've worked at BuzzFeed and they've grown a lot, but then you don't know if the views are still gonna come. Like even as a big media empire, views still matter, unfortunately. And once they don't come as often as, you know, previously, then if you're just a solo creator, that's okay. You just make less money. But if you're a huge company, you might have to fire people, and that's devastating for the company, for the people involved and stuff like that. So back to the original thing is like, in my opinion, especially as a media company, we should always have a lot of cash in hand, like a lot of like burn rate, and not work like month to month, just because it's a very volatile business. Because just because you make more videos, it doesn't mean you get more views. So yeah, I think the tip is like, one, try to make sure exactly what you want to do if money was not involved. So that's just for your own personal enjoyment. And then it's kind of related with two, it's like, you know, don't grow too fast just for the sake of growing, just because we never know in this climate what's going to happen. Yeah. And it gives you the flexibility to do what you truly want to do. Like imagine if I had a huge team, I made 10 channels, then my focus would be, I have to continue making these 10 channels run. I have to make sure my employees are happy and stuff like that. Then I never get time for myself to make these funny videos, to experiment, to be flexible, right? Or to even pivot. Because every time you pivot, you're gonna lose a lot of views in the beginning, right? So allow space for you to move, like emotionally and also financially.
I love it. Thank you so much. That
Thank
was
you.
awesome.